Thanks, Chairman, and thank you for being back with us, and thank you for your leadership and partnership on the work specifically related to Puget Sound.
Yes.
I really like this job. I like when we get to learn things in this job. I have now been at it long enough that I get to see how science changes and how our views on issues change. I still remember, I think in my first term, university researchers in my state showed a video of salmon dying when exposed to stormwater runoff. And they weren't entirely sure why. And then as time has progressed, they were able to distill it down and realize that it was a chemical in tires that when it wore down, it became basically poisonous to fish. And it was called 6-PPDQ. I feel like now I get an advanced degree in chemistry or something, but it's fatal to several salmon species. Last year we had several tribes in our region, including the Port Gamble, Sklallam, and Puyallup in my district, that petitioned the EPA to regulate 6-PPDQ under the Toxic Substances Control Act. And I appreciate EPA granting that petition. I'm glad that you are committed to working across the federal government and with state agencies to understand how 6-PPDQ gets into our water and what we can do to keep it out. This is not just a sort of an environmental issue. It's not just a moral issue. It's a legal one. There are 17 tribes that have treaty rights in Puget Sound to harvest shellfish and to do fishing. So the first question I have for you is, when EPA granted that petition, you indicated that the agency planned to issue the advance notice of proposed rulemaking under the Toxic Substances Control Act by the end of 2024. Is that timeline still accurate, and is there anything we can do in Congress to support that work?
Well, yes. Well, thank you for your leadership on this issue. In all sincerity, you have been a champion there, and I think we're going to do a little bit better by the end of the year, and we'll have that ANPR done by the fall of 2024.
Great.
To gather this important information. It's really important that we make this step, thanks to your leadership and thanks to the original vision of all of Congress with the TSCA legislation. These are the types of things that we were asked to do, and we're going to try to get those done.
Great. The 6-PPDQ issue is not the only threat facing Puget Sound. I appreciate the chairman's partnership in securing funding for the geographic program for Puget Sound. Even in a tough budget, we were able to maintain funding for that, and it really matters. Also want to express gratitude for the work that EPA is doing in the rivers that feed into the Sound. Restoring these riparian habitats is critical for species recovery. It's critical for clean water. It's critical for climate resilience. Excited to see the funding for the Climate Resilient Riparian Lead go out into our communities over the next 4 years. Are you able to give any additional information about the work you're doing to restore estuary and riparian habitats in Puget Sound?
Yes, I can tell you that we continue to work on the Puget Sound and enjoy those partnerships we have. I think we just funded the Kitsap Conservation District, which is providing that strong technical assistance and funding to help agricultural landowners employ the best management practices and improve the water quality there as well. And I'll say specifically for Puget Sound, we have successfully followed through with our new statutory requirements to stand up the Puget Sound Recovery National Program Office and the Puget Sound Federal Leadership Task Force. These are very concrete steps that we're taking to look at the entire system, and not only how we reduce 6-PPD, but as you say, all of these toxic impacts to our precious water systems that we all rely on for food, for recreation, and for just economic stability.
Thank you. I really appreciate your leadership and partnership on this. Would love to invite you out to see Puget Sound. I recommend August and September are really nice months, and the rest of the year it rains. So, but we'd love to have you out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman.